was going to an F.G.B.M.F.I meeting that night, and the two friends that came with me called into my place, and then we were going in, and my son had said that her mother had taken Dion to the hospital because she'd cut herself and wouldn't stop bleeding, and that's all he'd been told, so he didn't want to upset me or make me kill myself getting to the hospital. But anyway, I was agitated and wanted to get there. And my friend said, it's okay, don't worry. And him, I had invited Mervyn and his wife to come along to FGB a few years beforehand, and they'd given their life to the Lord and been coming along to the F.G.B.M.F.I, and they'd been getting some really good teaching word. And anyway, we got to the hospital, and there's my daughter laying on a gurney in the car park, and she's a light grey colour and not moving. And there's one young nurse, she looked about 17, walking slowly around her. And I saw her and I nearly fainted. I had to go and sit down. But my two friends went over to her and laid hands on her and cast out the spirit of death. And people have asked me, how do you know she was dead? Because I say she was brought back to life. She was dead and came back to life. I said, because my friend cast out the spirit of death. And then when he did that, she started to move. And then the nurse looked with shock on her face, pushed a button on the wall, and these doctors came down and checked on her, and up to intensive care. And like I said to the two skeptics that have talked to me about this, why would they have her down there if she wasn't dead, or waiting for it to be certified dead? Why wasn't she up in intensive care if she was alive or going to live? They'd given up on her. And then when she came back to life, went up there and around about, the Lord had spoke to me in an audible voice and said that Dion would live and be perfect in every way afterwards. And I wasn't even thinking about that. But that was the peace that he gave me. And then about midnight, she started to drift off again. And the nurse said, she's fading, and I wouldn't accept that she's fading. And what had happened was that the artery in the vein was still leaking and building up pressure in her head, and it had clotted, so it wasn't coming out freely. So they had to operate and cauterize the vein in the artery. And at that time, I had this experience like there was a balloon, and it was jet black inside, black as black. And these words were like in a cartoon caption, pushing against the balloon to get inside and saying that she's going to die. And I said, yeah, Satan, get away. It's the authority you have as a joint heir with Jesus. Go. And straight away, inside that balloon, it was white, absolute pure white with no shadows. And I don't know at that time how I knew that it had no shadows. I just knew that there was no shadows. And about 15 minutes later, the same thing happened again, exactly the same thing. And I said the same thing back to him, and this time I said, the Lord gives you the words to speak. He reminds you what to say. And this time I said to him, go, and don't come back. And bang, that was it, finished. Anyway, Dion recovered, and she was in hospital for about another week and a half, back to school, and you wouldn't even know she'd missed a beat. And when she went through, through school, she was really up in her grades and everything, and when she went through uni, she got all credits and distinctions all the way through. Takes after the mother's side in that area. But that's just one of the things, that's the biggest thing that the Lord has done and given back to me in my life. And it's not just a little thing. And I look at that girl, and she's a special girl. And we have a relationship that you couldn't get much closer, in the love that we have. It's natural as a father you have love for your daughter, but it's not always the case that a daughter has a fatherly love for her father. And I really appreciate that part of it with her as well. It's just wonderful thing. Many other things he's done,
Yes.
but
Thank you very much.
that's it.
Thank you.